Hello everyone, it's Sabrina from the Gombe family, and I have made 3 videos now about the essentials that you should bring or should consider bringing when coming to Africa if you are going to travel or live here, and those are items that you will use if you are living like the locals, not if you are staying in hotels with all the amenities. So now I want to talk about the non-essentials. So the things that we brought that we did not need at all, and didn't realize that, of course, until we got here. So I want to help you save money and make sure that you don't just waste money and space in your luggage on things that you don't need. So let's go ahead and get started. I have the actual 3 items that I'm going to show you first, and then a couple of them I don't have the actual items for, but I will put pictures up so you could see those. So let's go ahead and get started with the first item. And I actually didn't want to buy this because it is very, very expensive, like over $90 US dollars. But I talked to my husband and I talked to my dad, and they both were like, oh, maybe you should probably bring it just in case. So yeah, I didn't end up using it. So it is the SteriPen. So this is what you would use if you weren't sure about the water that you're drinking. You put this in and then you turn it on, and I don't think it's gonna turn blue. You have to, yeah, see? It says put it in 1 liter of water. So when you put this, when you submerge it in water, and these 2 prongs here sense that it's in water, then the blue light will turn on and it will be in the water for about 1 minute, and it will sterilize the water with the blue light. However that works, I don't know. But did we use it? No. I tried to use it like the first couple times that we were here, but I don't know, I just didn't notice a difference in the taste of the water. Granted, maybe it didn't change the taste, it just changes like the amount of bacteria that are alive in the water. But it just wasn't useful to us. And as you've seen in our essentials video, we have the Berkey to go now, and I just like that so much more, and it does change the taste of the water, and I think it tastes so much better. So this was definitely a fail in things that we need, not an essential. The next one is the Sawyer Mini. So this is an item that I have taken with me through all of our journeys, including going to China, including going to Mexico, and I was using it in those countries. I don't think I used it in Mexico. We had water delivered in Mexico for the most part, but in Mexico, I definitely used this, and it allowed me to drink the tap water, so that was awesome. But I don't know, we didn't use it very often here. I wanted to get used to the local water here. I didn't want to have so many, what is the word I'm looking for? Like so many different adaptations that I would have to do in order to live like the locals, you know? Like a local can just get water from certain taps and drink it, but I would have to go through another step of filtering it before I could drink it. I didn't want to do that. So I just wanted to be able to drink the water the way my husband, the way my Kenyan daughter drink the water. So I wanted to get used to the water quickly. So we didn't often use the Sawyer Mini here. Would you bring it in case you were uncertain of the water, or if you didn't have a Berkey to go? Maybe, yeah, that would be beneficial for you. But for us in particular, we didn't end up using it even when we didn't have a Berkey to go, because we just got the Berkey to go maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and before that for 8 months we weren't using any filter, and it was just fine. So definitely not an essential to us. That's something that you have to consider depending on where you're going and what you feel comfortable with. So the third item I want to talk about is this portable bidet. So if you can see right here, it has a hole there. So you put this on a water bottle. Here's the head, the spout of the water bottle, right? So you put this in there, and then the water bottle is full of water, and so you squeeze the water bottle and it works as a bidet. So I thought that this would be awesome because many people here just use water when they go to the bathroom. They don't use tissue or anything like that. They just have a bucket of water, they get some water in their hand and they wipe themselves clean. So I was like, oh, a bidet would be perfect to bring, and that's just not the case. I am very used to using toilet paper, so that's what we use here in Africa. We use toilet paper. Many people in like Nairobi, Mombasa, places like that, they use toilet paper just as much as we do in America. So you'll go to the grocery store and see people with toilet paper in their cart. So it's not like you're weird for using toilet paper. So yeah, this was just not beneficial for us. Depending on your situation, where you're going to be living, if you're going to have access to toilet paper, how far in the bush you're going to be living, things like that, this might be very useful for you. But to us, it just wasn't useful. We never used it. Okay, so now let's talk about things that I don't have here readily available. So the first one that I want to talk about is a bungee cord, like to hang your clothes. So I bought this on Amazon, and when I bought it, it was only like $5. I think it might have went up, but it's yellow and it has two bungees like twisted together. So you don't need to use clips or pins or anything. You can literally just like put a piece of your shirt in between the bungees and in between on this side, and then your shirt is hanging. It's not going to go anywhere. Awesome concept, right? But the problem is when you are close to the equator, like we are here in Kenya, the sun will destroy the bungee very quickly. So that is something that you really have to think about when you are buying things, like how well they're going to last. And that is something to consider, because here they use things that are high quality because they are rough on items. So whether it's the sun or whether it's just like people using items, they're very rough on them. For example, using a motorbike, you put like 5 people on the motorbike, right? So the motorbike definitely wasn't designed for 5 people, but they carry as many people as they can, regardless of what the motorbike was intended for. So they have to have things that are going to last, because they are going to be rough on them. So in this case, it's the sun. The sun is going to be rough on the bungee, and it is going to almost like disintegrate. That's what happened to it. So it will not function very long. Here, they actually like cut pieces of like an old tire and use that as a bungee, and it doesn't disintegrate. So that is something to think about if you want to have a bungee type situation. You can just tie a bunch of those like tire ropes together and use that, but you would still probably need clips. So yeah, think of a situation that will be more sustainable when coming to Africa and having to hang your clothes, because if you're going to live like the locals, which is what these videos are about, then you're going to be hand washing your clothes. So you need to try them somewhere. Okay, so the next item that I wanted to talk about here is collapsible water bottles. So I thought I was being genius by bringing collapsible water bottles. Specifically the platypus bottles, so they collapse completely like a piece of paper, and then you fill it up with water, and then it holds the water, right? And then it has like a screw top on the top. So I thought I was genius bringing those, like, oh, it takes up no space at all, perfect design, awesome. No, because they don't just readily have like baby bottle cleaners, which is what you would need to clean the inside of that, besides the fact that like the inside crevices like are hard to clean anyways with a baby bottle cleaner. So it's just not practical for the lifestyle here when you're living in the village, which everything is dirt, you know? So like you take the water bottle outside, it's going to be covered in dirt, and then you have to clean it, and then like sand or dirt gets inside like the lid and all of that. It just gets very dirty. So it's hard to maintain something like that. So when you have a water bottle, you want to make sure it is a wide mouth water bottle that you could get your hand inside and clean completely, because it's going to get dirty regardless of putting water in it that is not the cleanest, or just like being out where there's dirt and sand. It's going to get dirty. So you want to make sure that you are capable of cleaning it. So having collapsible water bottles, it's a genius idea in theory, but it doesn't work so well if you're going to live in a village style environment. So the last thing I have to talk about is kids' toys. yes, this might be controversial because many Americans think that they have to buy their kids toys that I don't really understand. Now that I'm in Kenya, I definitely don't understand why you have to buy kids toys. That doesn't make sense to me because my daughter, Georgina, she has showed me that you can literally get garbage or plants or whatever she finds outside, and she can make toys out of those things. You know, they're outside playing right now, and they get garbage, like from the garbage that we throw out, and they get the scraps of onion, the scraps of tomato, and they cut it up with like some piece of plastic they find outside, and they pretend that they're cooking. You know, like they are so creative with the way that they play with themselves or with friends. And I think that we are stifling that creativity in America by buying our kids toys, you know, like so they never are able to use their brain to be like, oh, like I don't have a toy, so what could I use as a toy, you know? Remember, we've seen like plenty of these videos of babies like drumming on like pots and pans in the kitchen, you know, that type of stuff, like, or kids that like play with the box that their toy came in as opposed to playing with the toy, you know. That just goes to show you that like kids can entertain themselves with anything, you know. So if the kid is in transit, like traveling on the airplane, on the bus, on the train, whatever the case may be, then give them an electronic, whether that's a Kindle to read. Safari loves to read. Or whether that's like a extra phone or an extra iPod that you have so that they can watch movies and videos and things like that. Allow that electronic time during then. If you are settled in a spot and they can go outside and play, allow them to go outside and play. They will find things to play with. They will create things to play with. So toys for kids is definitely not an essential when traveling around Africa, because they will find friends. If these kids don't speak English, it does not matter. Kids can find friends so much more easily than adults can. So it doesn't matter if they don't speak the same language, if they don't look the same, they will still play together. I guarantee you. My kids don't look the same, and they are inseparable, regardless of if they fight or whatever the case may be. And when we first got Georgina, she didn't speak English. They still played 24/7. Now they go outside and play. Many of the kids outside don't speak English. They still get along great, you know? So that is something that I really wanted to focus on, that you don't need toys for your kid in order to travel anywhere. It doesn't really matter if it's Africa or China or whatever the case may be. Your kid doesn't need toys. Like, Safari has maybe like one Barbie doll and a couple little things, but besides that, like, she doesn't play with them, you know? Rarely is she inside playing with those. Every chance she gets, she's outside, I don't know, playing with friends, creating things, whatever the case may be, using her creativity. So please think about that when you're traveling with your kids and you want your kids to be creative and be amazing adults when they grow up. I think that us allowing them to go outside and explore instead of playing with toys we've bought them is so beneficial for them. So those are the few things that I could think of non-essentials that we brought. We really didn't have many things that we brought that we didn't use so much, so that's all I could come up with. So there's definitely not going to be a part 2 of this anytime soon, but I hope you got some type of knowledge from this and were able to think a little bit about what you do need, what you don't need, and create your custom bag for your successful trip to Africa. So please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in our next video. Bye!